All right, we are live.
Cool.
Hey everybody, Rich here from Castle Capes and Clones, Loren's co-host. I know most people in chat right now are. And my TV's on. Um,
It happens.
I know, right? But he's having technical difficulties with his webcam, and his computer keeps restarting. So he's gonna try to fix that. So Tom and I are going to. Oh my God! Really? Hey everybody.
More technical issues on our end.
It's horrible.
Well, on your end,
I'm horrible. Sorry,
it happens.
but yeah. Um, so Tom and I, Tom, who if you watched any of our other stuff, Tom is usually our third co-host on
Yeah.
some of these things. Mostly
It
when we go over the Marvel and Star Wars shows.
the Marvel, yeah, but I missed out. Like I was super like I had a lot of stuff going on. So I didn't get to join you guys on like
Loki,
part of well, all of
all of
Loki
Loki, and part of
and part of
Falcon.
Falcon and Winter Soldier. But I'm all caught up now. So
Yeah, you gonna join us for what if?
yes, I really, really want to. I'm looking forward to that very much so.
Yeah.
It's good to be back. So it's been forever since I've even done my own streams. So I was like nervous before, I came on here. I was like, I'm too scared to do this. It's been so long. It's been like months and months.
Heaven
But now
forbid.
I'm not. Yeah, but now I'm glad to be back, and I'm looking at the chat. So hello everyone. It's good to be back.
Hey. Yeah. Um, yeah, we had LJ or Loren. Sorry, LJ to me. He's my cousin. Anyway, we had him try something new and apparently it didn't work. And not only did it not work, but it totally messed up his computer. So hopefully he can find his way back. Oh, I think he's on. Let me
Oh, is
see.
it? Wow, did he get it? Yeah, he said he was going to keep working on it. So,
All right,
oh, he's rotated.
I'm putting on the starting soon page again so we can fix
Okay.
all this stuff.
Yeah.
So be right back, people. Thank you.
All right. Well, wasn't that fun, everybody? Sorry about that. I am trying something new uh, with my phone, and what ended up happening was that um, the driver kept making my computer restart over and over again. I was in like, if you watch Loki, I was in a time loop, and it was not as pleasant as this time. So anyway, sorry about that. And now we are here. This is our chat with Castlescapes and Clones. We really want to hear from you, and that's why we have kind of rejiggered our show so that we can actually communicate with you guys a little bit better. We're going to be talking some news. So, but just jump in if anybody has any questions or commentary or ideas, about what we're talking about. That would be great. As always, subscribe to our channel, hit the bell for notifications, and do like this post. I am here with my cousin co-pilot Rich and our special guest Tom. How
Hello
are you guys
again.
doing?
Hi.
I
Doing
know that
swell.
was fun.
Yeah, just some. So every time we do this, I have to like set all the window sizes and whatever, and I changed. And this happened this today. I changed our layout, right?
Oh, really?
So that's why I needed everyone here to resize all the windows, and then
Yeah.
and then you all kept disappearing on me. And now,
Apologies. Yeah, called technology.
yeah. So, but yeah, here we are.
Anyway. All right. Well, since we are so late into it,
So we just
45 minutes late,
so we just dive into
let's
the
go
main
ahead and
topics.
just get into the to what we were talking about. We have some like quick topics. The first one is that there was a first look at Ms. Marvel from the new Disney Plus show that's either coming out the end of this year. Or I've heard that it's also might be pushed into 2022, but that it could reveal a new power set for her. Now, for those who are not as familiar with Ms. Marvel, in the comics, she has this power to, as she calls it, embiggen, which means that she can make her different parts of her body like larger or smaller. She actually has a power to shapeshift, but she just uses her powers to become either bigger or smaller.
Hmm.
So
And this uh, first look shows her having some kind of device on her arm, and a lot of people are saying that there's a rumor that it's some kind of weapon that she's going to be using. And I hope that's not the case.
hmm.
Anybody?
um, I don't know. I feel like Marvel's been good about keeping the essence of the characters,
Uh
and we just lost him. You know what? I'm just keep talking, and
Yeah.
he'll eventually show back up. Um, but yeah, Ms. Marvel, Marvel hasn't really strayed too far from people's power sets too much, and I think hers is pretty well defined. So I don't think it's a weapon. It could be just be something. I mean, we don't know what it is, right? It's a speculation at this point. If it could just be some piece of technology that maybe I don't know. I don't. She's not really the type of person who needs a weapon. Like she's not really like a fighter, if that makes any sense, right? So I don't buy her having to need a weapon of some sort. Like I think she's someone who would. I mean, you know, she like what Loren said. Like she gets parts of her gets bigger. It's almost sort of like Mr. Fantastic or Plastic Man or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Um, But she's not like ultra violent, so I don't see her like needing a weapon of any kind. So, yep.
Yeah, I mean, my as you know, my understanding of all the oh, he's back.
There he is.
Okay, I think what it is when I play with my earbuds, that's when I get knocked out.
Oh, do you? It looks like you have the kind of older, like the first or second gen AirPods. Is that what you're using?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think you're acts unintentionally tapping it, and it just hangs up.
I think probably we'll like try
Yeah,
and get it in. Mm.
yeah,
Okay.
because I used to do
Anyway,
that too.
okay. So the last thing I heard you say was that it was that you trusted it in Marvel,
Pretty
right?
much.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I do too, but I just love that big in power of her.
Yeah. I was saying, she's not the type of person who needs a weapon. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
Right.
I don't think it's a way. If anything, maybe some kind of technology that does something else. But I don't think I would immediately go. That must be a weapon.
Yeah. True.
You know, it could be like
True.
something that.
It's all rumors too.
Yeah, it's all speculation. I would say it'd be, if anything, would probably be more something to help her control her powers.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Similar to
Yeah.
what's her name from Agents of Shield, Quake
Hmm.
slash Sky. Is that her name? Where she needed
Wait.
those like glovey things,
Oh, yeah. Quake. Quake.
right, to kind of help her,
Hmm.
right. So I think it's more like that.
She's repelling something instead of generating. Oh, that's interesting.
That makes more sense for her, also.
Yeah. Love me some unarmed strikes. And Karen says she's definitely looks like a fighter in this. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So the first reviews for What If are in, and they all sound like it's really good. People in the audience, who's going to be watching What If? Let us know while you're doing that. We'll discuss a little bit about what we're hoping for What If. I've heard that it's really a good show. The three episodes they say are very uh, different from each other, but yet have a common bond,
Right.
which I think is very interesting.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, it's all told through one of the Watchers, as far as
Hmm.
I'm aware. So I think that's like some of the common bond is like I don't know in what context these stories are being told, but if it's through one of the Watchers, um, I can see that's the tie. Like there's some running theme, or he's looking at these stories for a specific reason. Um, and we've talked about it before. Like I honestly think that when this first was announced, I thought, oh, that's cute. We'll have a nice little kind of like animated like story to watch and whatever. But I think after the events of Loki, this is paramount to Phase 4. I think there's gonna be
Yeah,
a lot of stuff that come out of this show that'll
yeah.
affect the
I
rest of
just
the
saw
movies.
like a featurette that showed the timeline fracturing into the multiverse. I mean, like they use that kind of image, so it definitely is coming. This is coming right out of Loki. Uh, Allie and Pete say that they are here for it. Cammy says she's not a huge Marvel fan, but she may give it a watch. I think you should.
yes,
And Karen says that she didn't think that she was a Marvel fan either, but the universe stuck her in. Yep, I
yeah,
totally agree.
yeah. It did the little backstory that I love to tell, and thanks to you two, especially Rich. I was the same way. Back, like I saw Iron Man when it came out, and I was like, yeah, this is cool, and that's kind of it. and I went kind of like the elitist route for many
Mm-hmm.
years, and then and then Guardians of the Galaxy came out, and I watched that mostly because I was already a James Gunn fan of his earlier, more weird, off the wall, mature work. And I was like, "Wow, he's doing a Marvel movie." That's kind of, I wasn't expecting that. So I watched that, and I completely fell in love with Guardians. Like, I was in tears at the end of it. And then Rich said, "You know, you should." And you were trying. He was trying to get me to watch everything Marvel, and I was just, again, an elitist about it. Like, no, they're
Mm-hmm.
just whatever. But then you said, "Watch the Winter Soldier." I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, whatever. I'll watch it." And I got hooked. And then I went back and I watched everything up to that point. And then after that, I found love. And I felt like, and still feel, that once Marvel got the more weirdo directors like James Gunn, Taika Waititi, and and the Russo brothers, like, the quality, I mean, it was already good, but the quality just like skyrocketed.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just getting better and better. So
Yeah.
if you haven't yet, you it's and I know it's quite a trek, especially if you haven't, like, seen all of them in order. Oh, that's my alarm, sorry. Especially if you haven't seen them in order of release, or whatever order you go with. It's a long journey, but it's absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
Totally. So if you haven't yet, take your time, watch them all, and they just
Yeah,
get better and better, and then you
Definitely.
grow super attached to all these characters.
yeah,
Definitely.
and even
Cammy. Oh, go ahead.
I was say, even if you don't like, with anything like this is, if you're not a comics reader, this is
Mhm.
probably the closest it is to be a comics fan, especially of a
Mm-hmm.
universe like Marvel. Marvel has so many titles, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe has so many also running titles, and
Mhm.
not everyone is going to be your cup of tea.
Yeah.
And not,
Yeah.
and it doesn't also mean you need to specifically watch everything to get what's
Yeah.
going on. I think they
Yeah.
do
You don't
enough
have to watch
exposition.
everything.
There's
Yeah.
enough exposition in most things that everything's kind of mostly standalone. The only thing I'd probably say wasn't totally standalone would be Endgame, because it was part two
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
Oh
something.
yeah. You need to. Yeah. The last few movies, you need to watch some, like at least the Avengers films, I think, and Civil War, in order to really understand Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, I just want to quickly go through. Cammy said that Guardians is the only one that she's actually seen. And so you're going to want to watch the second episode, I think the second episode of What If, because it's going to tell the story of what if T'Challa, the Black Panther, were Star Lord. So that's going to be a
Huh.
fun one. Karen says that it's amazing to watch them in chronological order, and the way the themes and the characters weave through movies made years and years apart is extraordinary. Yep, I definitely agree with that. I think everybody here agrees with that.
Hmm.
And I can't even fathom how they created this whole
Yeah.
amazing movie.
Yeah. Rich and
Yeah.
I still talk about,
I
because
mean,
I
yeah.
still find myself rewatching, especially those, like, I'll go back and rewatch, like, Winter Soldier, both Guardians, Endgame especially. Well, sorry, and also obviously Infinity War. Like like Rich and I, back when Endgame came out, we did our a 2 hour podcast where we just talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
And just going, with with what you just said in chat, like, it just go imagine going back to, like, before Iron Man. So we pretty much, Incredible Hulk, and Feige, this producer, comes in and he goes, "All right, here's my plan. We're gonna make all these movies. They're gonna span 10-ish years, and we're gonna wrap, and it's gonna this section's gonna end here, and we're gonna have
Yeah.
all these characters." And imagine if you're like a higher up exec hearing this pitch, I'd be like, "There's no way that's gonna work. It's gonna be a train wreck." And they pulled it off beautifully. Just
Yeah.
going just going with that.
Yeah, I mean, it
Definitely.
really Feige understands comics. I think that's what it is. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
comic storytelling made this possible. Like I said, this is probably the closest anyone who's not a comics fan can get to being to experiencing what it's like to be a comics fan. Because everything kind of can weave together, but doesn't necessarily mean you need to read them all.
Mhm.
Right?
Hmm. For sure. All right. Well, let's move on to the next story. So it seems like everybody is suing or going to sue or looking at suing Disney, and all of it boils down to Disney Plus and how Disney has put certain films on Disney Plus, like Black Widow. Scarlett Johansson is looking to sue Disney because she says that she was promised a theatrical release solely, but Disney says that there's no merit to it because it's not taking into account the devastating effects of the pandemic, and that she's making more money by them releasing it on Disney Plus than she were if not. Um, and also, who is that? Oh my God, Emma
Emma Stone.
Stone, Emma Stone, and Emily Blunt are also looking at their options.
I
Um,
didn't know that.
I
yeah,
mean,
it's very interesting.
it's not just Disney. Like this is not the first we've heard of any of this. It happened with Warner Brothers and
Yeah,
HBO Max.
it's happening all over.
It's really comes down to the contracts and how no one accounted for live streaming or yeah. So Disney Plus, HBO Max. Those two things
Yeah.
are things that were never part of the contracts because it wasn't really a thing, right? So they're suing because there's part of that's not part of their contract and they're
Hmm.
missing out on things. You can look at it two ways. One, from a first world problem like celebrity getting more millions of dollars. But then if you boil it down to anything, they're not getting paid what they should be getting paid because part of how the companies are making money wasn't part of their deal.
Mhm.
That's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
So it's mostly a lot of it's principle, and it's going to affect. If anything, this is going to affect how contracts are set moving forward. If movie studios are finding that things like HBO Max, Amazon, and Disney Plus are viable ways to do first runs, right?
Yeah.
So, people might look at it as like just celebrities being, greedy or whatever, but it's going to set the tone for negotiations for everybody moving forward.
Right.
Times are changing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. The former lawyer. I didn't know you were a former lawyer. And I'm learning so much about you guys. I tell you. Because I was on their live stream before us
Oh.
and learned so much, and now I'm learning. Former lawyer in me finds it really interesting because this exigency literally didn't exist when the contract was signed. So how does the court interpret the contract? Yep.
Tricky situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a sticky situation. It'll be interesting to see what happens. So I'm sure that we'll be talking about this for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Allie is the former lawyer.
Hey.
Go ahead and continue. I'll be right back in a few minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, we're gonna go move on. I just want to, because we have like two major topics at the end. So I'm just gonna move on to the Jungle Cruise. Uh, there's a whole discussion about is it worth it for Premier Access. My answer is yes. I thought it was a fun summer flick, and if you have a family, it's totally worth it.
Yeah. You know, it's. I understand, the argument against it being too expensive for
Hmm.
single people, and not like single people, but like if you're just gonna watch, on your own or whatever. Sure, if you're taking into account and looking at the monetary value of you alone going to the movies versus paying $30 for something that will eventually be free on Disney Plus. Sure,
Yeah.
but you know, I I look at it as really what is the whole experience of it. There's still a lot of people who, I mean, COVID's not getting better. We're
Hmm.
everything's starting to get locked down again, so it's like, what's the safe way to do this for a family, so, and it's
Yeah.
going to be paying $30. And if you have more than a couple people, it's worth it, because one, price of a ticket's going to be like $15 anyway, ish, average.
Hmm.
So if two people go, there's your price. When I went to go see uh, Black Widow, it was a $17-$18 ticket because I saw it in a digital theater with latest technology and whatever.
Yeah.
Bag of popcorn, I'm sure it cost like $8, and a drink, which is a bottle of water, which probably cost like $8 as well. So I spent close to $30 by myself, and I can't watch it again, and whatever. So I see there's a lot of
Yeah.
value in it.
That's the same with me.
Yeah, right.
I totally agree because it's just like you spend so much money going to the movies. Cammy says $30 is way cheaper than going to the movies for a family. Definitely.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what, and I get it for like my nephews. Uh, you know, share my account with me, and my sister.
Just kidding.
I know, I know, I'm a monster. But they're able to watch it. Uh, and
Yeah.
that makes me feel good because that's like at least you know $80 or so in the movie theater, going to a movie theater. So
Yeah. I mean, like,
I get it.
would I want to see everything in a theater? Yes, I would want. I would have
Hmm.
loved to see everything that in the past couple of years or past year in a theater. I love going to the
Hmm.
theater, but
Yeah.
you kind of got to look at everything, the situation we're all in, and you know, and there's gonna be people like me and Lauren, who went to see Black Widow in the theater.
Yeah.
Did you see Jungle Book in the theater?
I thought you.
So was that?
Huh?
Did you see it in the theater?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you bought it on Premiere also.
And, you're right. It's just because I know that the kids don't like to go to the theater. They never like to leave the house. I don't know if people have teenagers. My nephews never want to leave the house ever.
It's so
So
weird.
they,
Like when I was a teenager, I wanted to go everywhere.
I know that's what my sister and I always say that. Like when I was younger, I wanted. We were on our bike all the time. I think a lot of kids these days they will have their video games and their phones. That's all they.
You are breaking up.
I'm breaking up.
Well, it's very hard to hear you.
Uh,
Or is it
I
just me?
think it's because one of my earbuds came out.
Oh,
Ah, yeah.
I came back at the right time. It
This
seems.
is like I tell you, it's like
There. Oh,
Oh, there you go.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, I had a feeling with him messing with it, it would do that.
I mean, I I can see, when we were kids, we were just talking about how our nephews are teenagers and don't like to leave the house ever. But like when I was a teenager and when Lauren was a teenager, like all we wanted to do was leave the house. Like,
Yes, yeah, yeah. It was the same for me too. Yeah.
right? I don't know. Maybe it's just because we didn't have a lot of stuff at home to entertain ourselves.
Hmm.
Like I see, like our nephews are always on their like phones and playing video games. Like I mean, I had video games, but
Yeah.
I didn't feel compelled to just stay home and play it all the time.
Yeah, like even
So I
though
don't know.
yeah, I was for me like when I was a kid, I had my Sega, I had my PlayStation when I was in my teens, but still, I would have rather just not been at home. So
Yeah. So I don't know. As soon as I learned how to drive, that was it. It was like that was like freedom.
yeah,
I'm going everywhere. Yeah.
everywhere but
Yeah.
here.
I've so I like he Disney said we need to get Lauren some over the ear. Yes, he has
Yes.
some. Well, I mean, he's on his phone, so that's why he's using earbuds because he doesn't have
Yeah.
headphones specifically for his phone. But
Mhm.
um, he has them for his computer, but they broke or something. I don't know. But yeah, we might need to get him some backups.
I have a while ago I got a refurbished like the Sony like these but the small cheaper 20 $30 ones, and and I got them and they were the white pair and not the black pair, and because I'm such a dork I was upset, so I haven't been using them. So
And I'm back.
oh, there he is. I'll gi- I'm gonna give you a pair of headphones too, spare headphones that I have as well.
uh, am I still breaking up?
No, you sound better now.
Yeah, you're fine now.
Uh, Cammy says we need to get me some ear
Yeah.
headphones. I know, right? Kira says that she does not like to leave the house. Yeah, but she does miss going to the. Oh no, she said just kidding. She said she does miss going to the movies and just hanging out. I totally.
Right?
So, um, speaking of just going to the movies and hanging out, COVID is getting worse again. Crazy.
Yup.
And Disney is
Unfortunately.
going to require COVID vaccinations for its employees, which is interesting to see. I think a lot of companies are going to go that way.
It seems like it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, um, I mean, it's fine. Like, honestly, you know, they should just. I saw someone post this somewhere. Like, they just stop calling it like your vaccination card and just call it your immunization records, which is something that people have to show for different things also. So
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
it's just maybe one of those things. Sometimes to travel, like I definitely when I was a kid, and I don't know what it is like now, but like you had to get certain vaccinations to go to school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So this should be
I
no
remember
different.
I remember that. Yeah.
So I think it's fine,
yeah.
and I think there's no
That's
way
just
to
all
at this
for
point.
stopping the spread of this.
Yeah, at this point, there's no way for us to get back from this, like without vaccinations. And
Hmm.
Mm.
at this point, I feel like everyone who's going to get one has gotten one, and everyone who's not is just you know whatever. But they're the
Right.
ones basically keeping us from being able to go to the movies freely or go to Disneyland without having to wear a mask inside.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
It's confusing because, I mean, I just real quick, I understand the skepticism, but at the same time, if it wasn't for vaccinations in general, the bubonic plague would still be a thing, and
Hmm.
everything else. So, uh, yeah, it just I I just want to be able to go places without a mask and not have to worry. And I think all of us feel the same way.
Yeah,
we,
Yeah.
we've
yeah,
been
like
doing it for
none of
over a year, and it's like we
yeah,
thought it would be the end was coming soon, but now it's like looking
it's
like
coming back.
I literally just bought something to like a badge holder for my immunization or my yeah basically my COVID card
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
if I have to carry that around as proof, I want to keep it safe.
Yeah, thankfully it fits in my wallet somehow, like barely, so I have it on me everywhere I go, just in
Yeah,
case.
I mean, I have it. Like, if you go, I can't remember the website, but like your records are online. So I also
Yeah,
Yeah.
have that. I wish there wasn't an app, but I have like a QR code that I guess someone can scan to see that I have my shots.
Yeah.
So
I can't
yeah.
seem to access my record online. I mean, it says, but I can't. The QR code that it gives me,
hmm,
I can't open it.
Hmm.
Driving me crazy. Of course, technology. Oh, I just wanted to say hi to Jean Claire and David. Thank you for joining us.
hello.
Greetings.
All right. Anyway, let's go ahead and move to. You have a couple of quick shots before we get into the main topic. You want to
Um,
talk about those?
sure. Hold on. This is quick things from the Star Wars world. I mean, we're going to go into another Star Wars world, but like really quickly, like Rosario Dawson on Instagram retweeted or not retweeted, but like shared a story about what's it called? About Mena Masad and Lars Mikkelsen being cast in Ahsoka. So people are taking that as confirmation that they have been cast as Ezra and Thrawn,
Mhm.
which I don't know, maybe. I mean, it's been rumor and whatever, and it could be just that she liked the post and just decided to share it. But like, I feel like she's been in the game long enough that she knew that would have to be something,
Yeah.
right? I mean, granted, it
Yeah.
was a story, so it wasn't like there forever, and I think she deleted it a little bit after it got out. So I don't know. I mean, that is the kind of the running favorites besides Taylor Gray for Ezra. But it's still I think dream casting. Like I would love both of them as those roles. So
I'm still catching up.
I know.
In that, as far as the with as far as the Star Wars animated, see all the series going on.
Yeah, dude, catch up, man.
Yeah. Well, I have your special Clone Wars episode guide list.
Yeah.
Where, that removed all the fluff, as all the unnecessary
I
episodes.
mean, that's only really if you um, don't want to watch the whole thing. But anyway,
Yeah.
the second thing I was gonna say is that they finally announced that the Bad Batch is getting a second season, which I
Yay.
file under no brainer.
Mhm.
uh, and again, Tom, you need to catch up.
I know Jean Claire watches a Bad Batch.
Like the Bad Batch has so far been an awesome way for the overall story to transition between the Clone Wars and the um, original trilogy timelines or time periods.
Oh no, watch it all. That's what I was doing. I was watching. I'm still almost done with season 3, so I still have a bit of ways to go in regards to Clone Wars.
Yeah.
But
Also, my list that I gave you was a list I made years ago, and
so maybe
given
it would need updating.
events that have happened since then, some of the episodes that I omitted are actually a little more important.
Okay, well, I mean, I'll just do what I was doing and just watch them in order. And it's a little easier anyway. I just hit play and that's it. So
Jean Claire is a true fan. She's watched all of them, and she loves the intro of the Rebel character.
Yeah, like I
Kira is asking about Bad Batch season two. You didn't know about it. That's great.
yeah, I think it was this today they announced it, this
Hmm.
morning sometime with the little, basically they said like the Bad Batch logo, then it burned away to say season two. Because we tonight at midnight is the first part of the two-part season finale, which
Hmm.
I am looking forward to. And then season two comes out in 2022. That was what they said. So looking forward to that. Hopefully, I can get. I unboxed Hunter and Crosshair. I have Echo coming as a normal trooper. I have Tech coming, and I have Wrecker coming. And also, LJ just left us again.
I saw him messing with his AirPod. I'm like, oh no, it's gonna happen
It's gonna
again.
happen every since he touches it. Don't touch your ear.
Yeah, I understand the fiddling with the AirPod thing because I've had AirPods. I have the Pros now,
Mm-hmm.
and I still have to adjust.
That's
So
why,
yeah,
like,
I'm gonna
I
get it.
want to get the Pros, but I don't know about the, because like
The rubber
the
thing.
weird, because the weird thing is the normal ones are the only earbuds that actually stay in my ears. Like I've tried many different kinds, but since they
Mhm.
changed, it's a different design because they have the rubber parts. I don't know if that'll stay in my ears.
It
So I don't want to invest $250, whatever it costs to
I
get
I
those.
I I've seen like photos allegedly of the next ones, and they're apparently gonna go back to that original
The original.
non-rubber tipped ones. Yeah, so
Really?
because yeah, my girlfriend's the same way. She has both, like I do, but she prefers that original. She doesn't like the rubber. I've gotten used to it. Oh, there he is.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, the AirPods eventually bug my ear after a while. So yeah,
Wait, talk amongst yourselves.
okay.
Everyone enjoy the view of his mic.
Ceiling. Oh, there he
Oh,
goes.
there he goes.
Yeah, like for the AirPods, I have either pair, like the originals and the Pros. Sometimes I have, if I'm on the phone like with anyone, like I'll go, hang on, and then I had to take them out and kind of like readjust.
Yeah.
So
Like I
so I
understand.
get
Like
it.
I mean, everyone's ears are different. So like some
Yeah,
people don't like the normal AirPods. So
yeah.
that's why I know because I've had like other brands or whatever. I just feel like they're always so they don't fit right. But for
Hmm.
whatever reason, the original earbuds for the iPhone are perfect for me.
Yeah.
So I mean if people say like people like the Pros better, then I wish they would come out with either or. Like you can choose which design you want, or you know what
Yeah.
I mean.
I mean, I like the Pros a lot. They sound amazing. The noise cancellation is great.
Enter
I've
LJ.
used it a lot. Oh, there he is.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I can't hear you now.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I had to take out the earbuds because I couldn't hear very well. I'd have to put them back in my ears.
And exit in 5, 4, 3, 2, 2.5. Or maybe he'll exit. We'll see.
Let's see.
Oh, there he goes.
Yep.
um, but yeah, I would say like, I wasn't looking forward to the Bad Batch
Hmm.
really because I'm like, really again we're gonna go with clones and all this kind of stuff, but it's pretty. I mean, like not every episode's great, but like so far, like maybe like 90% of them. Like there's maybe one I was like, yeah, that's
Mm.
okay. Um, but like it's bridging the gap, and it's kind of cool to see just how the galaxy reacted to the Empire in the beginning. And then there's an identity crisis because you have clones who, there's clones who are kind of resistant to the whole Order 66 thing, but like the Bad Batch. But then you have clones who, followed their orders and whatever, but as time is gone, it's like they're kind of questioning what's going on. And then you have Imperials who are kind of like, why do we need clones? And that's where we get stormtroopers. And so like they're slowly moving towards stormtroopers, and it's amazing because they're using a lot of the original Ralph McQuarrie stormtrooper designs.
Really?
Right. So they're going. You can see it going from clones, like the way clones looked. Now, like the last episode had troopers. I don't think they call them stormtroopers yet, but but it I recognize that look, and I'm like, oh my god. And so
Yeah, that was one of the, because obviously, because I'm still catching up on Clone Wars, and I still have to watch Rebels, and now this I haven't even started it yet. That was one of the questions I know a lot of us had, like, well, what happened with all the clones? Because after Order 66, then we go straight into A New Hope, and we're like, well, where all the clones go? And I'm assuming this is starting to answer that question.
oh yeah.
Which
Okay.
just fascinates me.
Thanks. Now I can hear you guys much better.
Okay.
Yay.
I think I had my AirPods in the wrong ear. I swear, people, our shows are not this technologically.
I feel though this has been an experience, and a comedic one at that.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. This is pure comedy, everybody.
Yeah.
Just remember that.
At one point I was like, I should just start with the stream and just like have everyone watch this because it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you were like,
Hold on,
can you
I
hear
just want
in
to
the
say
cutout?
night to Cammy. Night, Cammy.
Oh,
Good night.
Ta.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Didn't mean to.
No, I mean
Go ahead.
we're pretty much done with the Bad Batch, so it's
Okay.
pretty much on to the big topics.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Now we're on to our main topic. All right. So, magic keys.
Yep.
It has been announced that. Are you leaving, Allie and Keith? Okay. Well, they've announced Magic Keys, which is going to be the replacement for annual passes at Disneyland. And there had been a lot of speculation about what the replacement was going to be. They had a lot of people thought that there was not going to be monthly payments anymore, and that it was going to be really expensive and things like that. But then when they announced it, okay, great, thanks, Ellie. When they announced it, it's actually cheaper
It's a little cheaper, yeah.
than what it was before. Now there's some perks that we're not getting back. Like, take for instance, Max Pass. I love Max Pass,
Yeah.
which had the photo pass. But if I have the ability to get into the park, then that's fine with me,
Exactly.
Yeah.
personally. I know that there are other people who don't feel the same way, but I'm just happy that I can pay monthly, because I wouldn't be able to pay up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like when the announcement was made and I saw what the different levels were,
Mhm.
it was way more than I thought was going to happen. Like I thought they were
Yeah.
going to. I thought it was being a lot worse. Actually, I thought we are going to be
Yeah.
more restricted. I was one who thought they would get away, do away with monthly payments.
Yeah. I remember you saying.
And you know, I thought it would just be like really, really hard to get back into the parks whenever I
Mhm.
kind of wanted. And like, granted, I'm not typical, right? I literally live. Tom and I both literally live like 5 minutes away.
Yeah, we're down the street.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
and I go a lot. I went a lot pre-pandemic. To do. That's how I got my 10,000 steps in. Like 3 times a week. Like I was there 3 times a week, basically,
Yeah.
Mhm.
for a couple hours. And I miss it because it's this place that I can go and walk around and get my little bit of exercise in, but then also it was safe because I also live in Anaheim, which is not quite the best
Yeah.
place.
Anaheim's an interesting city where you have like
It's
pockets of
Disneyland,
good and
but
pockets of bad. Yeah.
it's also not so good parts.
I mean, my only quote unquote, I mean, it's nitpicky, obviously. I mean, I'm glad they're back in, they're pretty much coming back. Um, I mean, I've seen this being, like a lot of, if you like any of the Disneyland news, account social media accounts I follow,
Mhm.
the biggest complaint is, well, I can't just go whenever I want to. I'm like, you can, but you can't. Like I did notice, depending on the day and the time, you can make a reservation the same day, but not too late. Because earlier
Yeah.
today, at around 3 o'clock, you could go. You just do reservation. You could go today. But some other times, like by now it's 8 o'clock. I don't think you can. I think it's too late, which is kind
Mhm.
of unfortunate because it was the same for me. Like I would just go on a whim, either by myself, I would bring my camera with me and just walk around and do photography. And if I felt like it, I'd go on a Haunted Mansion 37 times. And then I would just do, and then, or I would just, I would just walk, to do some window shopping or maybe buy something. Or other times like Rich and I he'd message me and be like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. Like, you want to just go real quick? All right, sure. And he'd pick me up, we would just go without even really thinking about it. And the same thing for another friend of mine, except he would say, do you want to get ice cream? And that only means one thing: let's go to Main Street and get ice cream. And most of the time we wouldn't go on anything, we would just go there, go to Gibson Girl, get ice cream, and he would usually spill his ice cream, which he did 90% of the time. I'm not kidding.
Oh, I know
And
you're not
almost,
kidding. I'm
yeah,
just
almost,
I can picture it,
yeah,
and it's
almost every
and it's
time.
perfect.
And it wasn't a thing where he had the cone and it would just kind of fall off. No, he had a cup, so it was safer. Like,
Even better.
yeah, and we would normally sit at the hub, just kind of just people watching, taking in the ambience.
Yeah.
And I remember, and I would get the cone because I like having the cone with the chocolate and the peanuts. And I would just, like, we'd be sitting there and I hear, oh, and I already knew before turning around what happened. And he would just be like this, just looking at the floor.
Yes.
And his cup would be upside down on the floor. So, but that was it. That was those were the trips. And I'm wondering, and I'd like to hear everyone's opinion on this. If do you think at any point in the future that part of the annual pass thing where you no longer need a reservation will come back?
Anybody have any opinions? Let us
Because
know.
I do.
I think personally, I personally think yes, but it'll be an add-on purchase, like how the Max Pass was. Like it's like, oh, you want, if you want to be able to do this, you pay X amount of dollars, and now you have it. It's part of your pass. I think maybe in the future, probably once the pandemic truly is no longer a thing, not like what is happening now, where we thought it was going away and now it's coming back. That maybe like, okay, if you want to be able to go whenever you want to with no reservation, you pay this much.
Yeah.
Just a theory of one.
I can see that because I would lean towards no because I think that was a problem that they had pre-pandemic. There was always overcrowding and all
Yeah.
these kind of things, and so this way they can control how many people are in the park. They know how many people are going to be at the park, and they can
Hmm.
staff appropriately. And that's always
Yeah.
been
Right.
part of the thing, right? You know, like, and a lot of people like we had speculation how they can control that, and one thing I thought was end the payment plans, like that'll
Yeah.
get rid of. But then, is that really what you want to do for, you know, people who just love Disneyland? And
Yeah.
probably not. Um,
Hmm.
so I lean towards no, but Tom's idea intrigues me.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
like
wouldn't
that idea.
I wouldn't be surprised. And if they did that, would I pay for that? Absolutely. On
Now,
top of on top of the
would
1400 for the
would you
highest
pay?
tier.
Would it only be for the Dream Key? Because if you add it to any of the other ones with a whole bunch of other blackout dates,
Hmm.
Yeah.
does that make sense?
Hmm.
Mm, no.
Probably
Before we do
not.
that, though, I wanted to just say that Karen doesn't think it will. Which
Yeah,
is fine.
I wouldn't be surprised if that part of it is never coming back. And I agree that it's heartbreaking at the idea that we wouldn't be able to literally go on a whim,
Yeah.
like any
Hmm.
moment, like out like just the other night, my friend and I, the ice cream spill guy who always spilled his ice cream, we were out and about and we were wondering what should we do. It under pre-COVID circumstances, I know exactly what would have done. We
Yep.
would have, because the power went out in my area, so there's nothing really to do. I know that we would have just gone to Disneyland and walked around and
Hmm.
until after closing, which is what we usually did. So it'd be
Yeah.
nice if they brought that back, even if it was a premium type thing where you had to pay for it. And if they
Mhm.
did, I'm a total sap when it comes to Disneyland. I would do that in a heartbeat.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
All right.
I,
Well,
I'm
let's go ahead and because I don't think a lot of our audience is from Disneyland.
oh, okay.
Let's go ahead and start talking about the Galactic Star Cruise.
woohoo!
Oh, intrigue. That's intriguing.
Rich, why don't you lead us in that one? Because I'm sure you've read every thread.
So yeah, they're like the two biggest like Disney universe stories this week were definitely first the Magic Pass stuff, right? Which affects mostly Disneyland, and
Mhm.
then you had the Galactic Cruiser announcements, which obviously affects Disney World.
Hmm.
So for our friends on the other side of the country, um, the Galactic Cruiser is they announced basically a lot more information about it, including some prices, which is the cause of most internet comments. Let's just say.
Yeah, not surprisingly.
But I mean, like, I get it. I get it. So for anyone who doesn't know, so the Galactic Cruiser is a experience that you can go to in Disney World, where you are on basically a 2 night immersive Star Wars story, where
Mhm.
you almost like a think like a Star Wars cruise. Like if you've seen the Fifth
Yeah.
Element, it's like going on the ship with the like that cruise ship that they went on. Um, so I would say look at it as part cruise ship because it's very very similar in how a lot of the things are laid out and how things
Hmm.
go, and then also
Right.
part like literally 48-hour total immersive story experience in the world of Star Wars. Like
Yeah.
you know if anyone who's been on Smuggler's Run, right? It's the Millennium Falcon ride. You go
Mhm.
into the spaceport and it's cool, and you see Hondo, and it's awesome. Then you go inside the ship and you pilot the ship, and then you leave, and then you're back in reality. Like imagine doing that, but then you leave, and then you're still in the world, like really in the world. Like you
Right.
know, like the cost. Yes, it's expensive, but what you're getting is cruise ship kind of prices. You get a 1 day park entry, which is 100 plus per person anyway.
Yeah.
Food, all the like most of the food and kind of stuff like a cruise is all inclusive. But then, like everyone who is working in that spaceship is an actor, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. They need to pay those actors. Hold
yes,
on though, because Jean Claire said that she cannot wait to go, and she has already been planning her outfit. And Sharon says that she's counting on a report back from Jean Claire.
yes.
I want to know though, Jean Claire, who are you going to be wearing? 2 days, 2 days, 2 nights. Who are your outfits? Go. All right, go ahead. Sorry, Rich.
Um, but yeah, I mean, like a lot of news came out about it. I don't know if you guys are watching the live stream, but like I'm showing pretty much the website that has all this stuff, so you can see. And I hope my biggest hope is that I think the promise of what Galaxy's Edge was has not lived up to that yet. And you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there was supposed to be a lot more immersiveness at Galaxy's Edge. I remember them saying like whatever happened to you in the Millennium Falcon would follow you around the park. That's never happened. Right? Like
Unfortunately.
I've crashed that ship so many times, no one said anything to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a close but not no cigar. At least not yet.
Yeah, I still remember when we went and it was Loren and my sister piloting, and it was the most hilarious thing ever because
Yeah.
the Millennium Falcon did not make it out of that unscathed. Like you remember
Survive.
like how it looked like at the end of Solo after the Kessel
Yeah.
run,
That's
Yeah.
pretty much the shape it would have been in.
pretty much. And no one and what was said before anything happened was like then you'll go to the cantina and someone will say something or Doc Under was like no one's ever said anything.
Mhm.
Plus, there's supposed to be droids running around, and like everyone's supposed to be super immersive, but it's not really. I'm hoping that this lives up to that promise, and that literally for 48 hours, the moment you step inside the port to the point where you leave the port, it's you are in Star Wars, like totally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
That's amazing.
let's go over a couple of what's included in this thing. Right, so it's a 2 night stay in a cabin or suite. Meals are included, excluding alcoholic beverages and some specialty stuff. And the
I'm just
opera.
going to be eating the entire time. I'm going to eat my way.
I know, right? Um,
I'm like, I want to get my every penny of my money
Yeah.
back.
I don't blame you.
yeah. Yes, Kira, you need to. I mean, I haven't gone through the prices yet, but
Yeah, it's a lot.
like I'm trying to hype this up so you understand when I show the prices why it costs so much. But I mean,
Mhm.
you know, and like what is included is like all that kind of stuff. That sounds very cruise like. But then it's like,
Yeah.
and the opportunity to live your Star Wars story through exclusive experiences, missions, and activities. So this is where it is no longer just a cruise, and it's definitely not a hotel. Like I like never ever call it a hotel because it's not a hotel.
Yeah.
It's basically an immersive Star Wars cruise. Um, because some of the things you can do is and like there was this and I'll link it in the notes, but like there would like before all this came out there was like an 18-minute YouTube video with some of the Disney Imagineers just talking about it. And they were talking about the
Hmm.
experiences where you know You could be somewhere and then someone might approach you and say, "Hey, I need someone to smuggle me on the ship," or "I need someone to pick up whatever." And so it's a storyline that you can choose to participate in if you're a role player, or if you aren't, you can just kind of watch it happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what I liked is that like I knew as part of me was like, are you gonna force awkward people to like, try to do all these things? Um, but so you can be as immersed or not as you wish. It's kind of like when you go
Yeah.
to the '50s primetime cafe. Like you don't have to do all the antics if you don't
Yeah.
want to. So
I
um,
wonder. I wonder how, like, what percentage of people do you think are going to actually get dressed up, or like, even turn themselves into a Twi'lek or something like that?
and
Um,
I here's what I think is going to happen. I think like the
mhm.
first ones are going to have a whole bunch of like influencers and whatever, and those guys probably will. But like, there's going to be press and like celebrities and whatever. Probably not. I think, and then like when the first wave of normies go, I think it's going to
Mhm.
be like people aren't going to be sure about it, right? And it's more.
Night Karen.
Good night. Um,
Good night.
I think the more people go on and more people hear about it, and like there's going to definitely be YouTube videos on it. Like then people will start like, to realize that part of the fun is to go and dress up
Hmm.
and do this thing for
Hmm.
48 hours because you can even keep dressed that way when you go into Galaxy's Edge and Hollywood Studios. Um,
Yeah.
so I feel eventually there'll be a lot more people, but I think in the beginning it won't be a lot. Just because it's like
Mm.
that kind of like no one knows what to expect kind of thing,
Right.
or like maybe like people won't come in because they said so. One of the things they said is like you can, they encourage you to dress up. You can buy stuff off of shopdisney.com, or there's going to be stores in the cruiser that you can buy attire and stuff like that. I
Hmm.
think once people get on and realize this how immersive it is, they might spend the money on the ship to dress up as something, right?
Yeah.
And like like I'm assuming it sounds like from what I've heard, like if you want to be a Twi'lek, they'll sell like leku that you can wear as like a headband or something.
Hmm.
And then if you like the
Hmm.
second day are like this thing's heavy, I don't want to wear it the whole day, or it's like oh it's Florida, it's 100 degrees out and it's humid, I don't want to wear this everywhere. So you don't have to stay in character like the whole. If you
Yeah.
choose to, you choose to at your own desire. So this is cool. The dining, people can see this. Like all their kind of food looks, and this is another thing that I think this like Galaxy's Edge didn't do as well. Is that their food needs to look a little more otherworldly.
Yeah.
And I think from what I've seen of like the few pictures of some of the cuisine on the Star Cruiser, that looks more kind of weird. Like
Alien. Yeah.
just like blue shrimp and stuff like that. Um,
Jean Claire is ready to be in the show, and Kira says that uh, she's going to be fully into the role, and she loves immersive role playing. Also, a cool idea for paid acting. Yeah, can you
Agree.
imagine being one of the actors
yeah,
on the ship?
right.
Yeah, that'd be really fun, especially if you're. I mean, especially if you're like really into Star Wars. Like I have a kind of, at least in my head, a backstory of what my quote unquote character would be. So
Hmm.
I'm more than prepared. I mean, we're gonna get to the prices once that's figured out. I'm more than excited and happy to try to stay in character for like the majority of the time I'd be doing this. Definitely.
Hmm.
So one of the things that's interesting about what they announced is like they kind of gave you a sample itinerary, right? And I think this
Yeah.
is where you kind of can see that this is not a normal kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know if you guys can see it or see it on the stream, but like day one, it had like, and this is just a sample itinerary. It doesn't mean this is exactly what you're gonna do, because I think there's gonna be a lot more freedom to pick and choose different things. But like, for someone who wants to do as much as possible, this sounds like a complete, the complete time you're there that there's something going on.
Yeah.
Right. So day one, you arrive at the terminal, and the terminal, kind of like when you go on a cruise, there's like a port, right? And it's just like you drive up there, you unload your bags and whatever, and you basically walk into what, well, I can assume looks like a Star Wars port of entry kind of thing. And then you launch onto you go into a pod to go to the Star Cruiser. So you leave Earth in something that makes you feel like you are going into space, and you dock with the Star Cruiser. For those of you who have been on Rise of Resistance, I would assume is going to be similar to when you leave Batuu and go to space. Something like that.
Mind blowing.
Right? Which if you haven't been on Rise of Resistance, Tom finally went on it.
I finally went on it, and I know you
Wow.
recorded it.
Yeah, I need to
And
air that somewhere. But yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I was pretty much teary eyed the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that video.
Yeah. And then you get on the ship, and then just like a cruise, there's a ship orientation. And then, and like we're talking like, so from at 1:00 you arrive at the terminal, from 1:15 to 1:30 you launch to the Star Cruiser, 1:45 to 2:15, so that's like in half an hour, there's ship orientation. And then from 3 to 3:30, some light refreshments, which I'm assuming most, if you're not going alcoholic route, will be all free. And then you start doing activities. Like in this example, from 3:30 to 4, you can do Sabacc lessons. And Sabacc is the card game that that Han Solo won the Millennium Falcon from Lando playing, right? And then there's muster. And if you've never been on a cruise, muster is the part of the cruise that everyone has to do, because it's basically the safety talk. Now, I'm pretty sure there's some real life safety things you need to know about this whole experience. But like on a cruise, they're talking about this are the lifeboats, and here's where you get your vests and all those kind of things. You don't need lifeboats from on the ground. So I'm sure it's gonna be partly normal stuff that, as any kind of like hotel or place we're staying, you'll need to know. But I think there's going to be a lot more Star Wars stuff involved in that, and that's about a half an hour.
I could see how they be able to pull that off really well.
Yeah.
Check
And
for the
then
first order, things like that.
from 4:30 to 5 is captain's reception. Now, this is basically me and the captain. And I before this I was watching Dano's channel, and he went through. He found like some of the postings for cast calls, and what's interesting is the captain casting call called for a woman in like her 40s to 50s, but to portray a captain who's Pantoran. And if you know what a Pantoran is, well, if you don't know what a Pantoran is, it's a race in Star Wars. They're basically blue. If you're familiar with the sequel trilogy, I want to say Revenge of the Sith. There's a part where
The prequels.
the prequels, yeah, sorry. There's a part where you see George Lucas dressed in as a character, and he's blue with his daughters. Those are
Just outside the
Pantorans.
theater.
Yeah, those are the Pantorans. And if you watch Clone Wars, they're I won't say like heavily, but there's episodes and arcs that involve the Pantorans. They're pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
So the captain, I believe, for all versions of this, is going to be a Pantoran woman. So,
Wow, that's cool.
yeah. And then from like 5:30 to 7, there's dinner featuring live music, and that's if it's anything like cruise, you kind of choose. They kind of do if it's something like a cruise, you go to this dining hall or whatever, and then this is where normally you get the fancier food,
Mm-hmm.
basically. And it's almost like a common, like you'll be seated probably with another group. That's usually the way it
Yeah.
goes. And then there's usually like two separate times you can go, an earlier dinner and a later dinner and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then after dinner, one, there's gonna be live music, so I'm looking forward to seeing what that is in Star Wars. Like, is it gonna be more? Is it gonna be more Cantina Band, or is it gonna be more like
Max Rebo.
Max Rebo? Is it gonna be Lin Manuel Miranda? Who knows? And then from 7:15 to 7:30, there's the Outer Rim Regalia, and that's 15 minutes. So I don't know. I mean, it sounds like a cool thing, but it's only like 15 minutes. But then I don't know if this means like it's only going to last 15 minutes, or it's like I just want to check this out for 15 minutes and then do something else. And then they include something called Unexpected Story Moment. For example, you might prove your mettle to join an elite smuggling ring, or you can be asked to hide a stowaway to help the resistance. That's just two examples, and I'm sure there's going to be more kind of thing.
Yeah.
So this is where you might run into something, or it doesn't necessarily mean this is exactly when you'll do it all the time. So just for an example, at this point of this person's itinerary or day, that might happen, right? And then there is bridge training for like 45 minutes, where you literally go to the bridge of the ship and they show you all the different controls and whatever, and how to use the turbo lasers and all those kind of things, just in case something happens.
Wow.
Just in case.
Just in case. And then there's entertainment from 8:30 to 8:45, and then pretty much you go to bed. That is day one. Day two starts at 7 o'clock, where you have breakfast. And again, this is inclusive. So,
all the breakfast I need.
Right. And then you get transported after breakfast to Batu. Now, in the pictures on the site, there is a picture of what that shuttle looks like. And knowing what the buses look like, it totally is a bus. But they've decked it out to look like a starship. So I'm assuming there's going to be like, somehow the windows are looking at space instead of outside. So,
yeah. I'm sure it's going to be like Harry Potter.
Yeah, definitely. Right. And then when you go there, you get to go on Rise of Resistance. So I'm assuming that since you're on this, you have your own version of the boarding pass where you don't have to fight for a place. You just automatically get to ride Rise of Resistance, which, if anyone who's had to do the morning ritual of praying to get a boarding pass for Rise of Resistance, this is awesome, right? And then again,
now, do you have to get off of the? Like, do you have to go to Batu, or
no? But I will say that if you are doing any kind of the storylines, it involves going to Batu.
Yeah.
Because at this moment here, for this person, this is another story moment. For example, you might broker a deal for a heist. Millennium Falcon, anybody?
Yeah.
Or arrange to steal a ship from the First Order, right? In the video with the Imagineers, they said that, if like something that you do, this is where it I hope this plays out, is that the coaxium that you get for Hondo plays a part in the story when you go to the ship, right? So no, you don't have to go, I don't think, but I think you're also missing out on some things. I'm just saying. After that, you ride the Millennium Falcon. Again, I like depending on how you are immersed, that might actually play into what you were doing. And then they provide lunch at Docking Bay 7, or you can go to Hollywood Studios. And I'm assuming they're going to give you some kind of voucher or something for food. But then you take the transport back.
That would take me out of, I mean, like, if you go to Hollywood, like the rest of Hollywood Studios, to me, that's like, then I'm totally, I mean, like, what if you're dressed like a Twilight? And you...
well, then play the part.
Yeah.
It's like going to a Renaissance fair dressed as a Star Trek captain. What is this strange thing?
Yeah.
I'm from
Yeah.
Ryloth. What is this dinosaur thing looking creature in the middle of your lake?
Yeah, it'll show just your dedication, just stay in character no matter what.
So you have magical rodents on your planet.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes, we do.
What system and what system am I on? How did I get here?
Terrans are so weird.
Right.
But yeah, so like, and then around like 1 o'clock, it says transfer back to the shuttle or back to the Star Cruiser to do the one thing I think everyone wants to do. I don't care how old you are, lightsaber training.
Right.
And if anyone's seen that video of Rey igniting a lightsaber, that is supposed to be what it is. Like,
Right.
it is a working, well, you know, not gonna kill anybody, but like a lightsaber that looks like a lightsaber.
And it actually
Yeah.
There's no,
works.
like, not unlike my lightsabers behind me, where you have to attach a blade. The blade comes out, it lights up. You know, this is something they've been working on for years. I remember Dave Collins, who has an awesome podcast called the Soundtrack Show.
Yeah.
He's also plays a lot of the hosts for a lot of the Star Wars events, right? And he was talking about how he was on stage and they gave him that lightsaber and he lit it. And he's like, "It's a lightsaber. Like, there's no other way to describe it that it's a working lightsaber." Now, you know, a lot of people are like, "Can you buy it and whatever?" I don't think you can. I think the technology is way too expensive, which is why it's on this for you to experience.
It's included, yeah.
Yeah, but who knows? Maybe lightsaber training will play a part.
Yeah.
Who knows?
John McClure didn't know that she could dress like a Twilight. Oh my God! If you dress like a Twilight, you need to take pictures.
I would totally dress like a Twilight. And then after that, you can do droid racing competition. There's a thing that says build model ship. There's the sabacc tournament you can take part in, and then cocktails at the Sublight Lounge, and then a taste around the galaxy dinner, which I'm assuming is like the big grand dinner where they're gonna bring you a whole bunch of different stuff. And then after dinner, there's another story moment for this itinerary, and it says you can either put the heist plan into action or bring the stolen ship aboard and watch out for the First Order, because right after that, or a little bit after that, is the spectacular finale, which I think is where the ship gets attacked or something happens. Everything that you were part of, immersed in the storylines, all intersect at this point. And,
Wow.
you know, chaos ensues for the night.
That's crazy. Now, okay, hold on. Is it 2 days and one night, or I thought it was 2 days, 2 nights?
Well, this is day 2.
Day 2.
This is day 2. And then after the spectacular finale is the second night. You go to sleep.
Is the what?
That's when you go to sleep. So that's the second night.
Oh, okay. So then there's a second night.
So first day is like half a day, really.
Yeah.
And the second day is a full day. So it's 2 nights. So
Right.
I wouldn't. So if you're really gonna sell it, then it's a 2-night experience.
Right.
That's what it is.
Okay. Okay, so there are 2 nights. That's good. Because I kept thinking if there's a finale, then does everybody get off the ship at that time?
No, I
So it
mean,
sounds
like,
like they
it's a
don't.
finale. You get rewards, whatever. And then you're like, oh, that's awesome. Then you go to sleep.
Yeah.
I don't think the finale ends
John
in this.
McClure said, oh, God. Earbud fell out again. John McClure said that if you're going to spend that kind of money for the experience, you need to experience it all. Yep, definitely.
Yeah,
and sure.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I get it. Not a lot of people. There's gonna be people, and I'm sure we're gonna lose LJ in a second. Yep, there it goes. There's gonna be people who don't want to, and that's fine. You can watch everything going on around you, but like I this is what I wanted from Galaxy's Edge. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to like I had a whole kind of backstory to who I would be in Galaxy's Edge. The lightsaber that I built at Galaxy's Edge has a backstory to it.
So does mine.
So it's like I never really got to do anything with it because you don't do anything over there. This is why I'm hoping like this is where that can be a part of something. So, everyone watching, so you can kind of see some of the costumes or whatever. Usually, when you go to Galaxy's Edge, you can dress up, but you can't dress up like fully. At least here in Disneyland, I've heard in Disney World they're a little bit more relaxed about that. If any of you guys who are from Florida or go to Florida a lot, is that true? Because I know here they're kind of like, nope.
Yeah, they're like, no, don't do that. Even though they sell that stuff.
Yeah, and like, no. But like,
I hope that changes.
Well, they're gonna have to do that for this. If you are encouraged to dress up, like you can dress up as an alien. And then you go on the ride. They're not gonna tell you once you leave, like for that full immersive experience. They can't tell you like, take off your leku.
Yeah.
Be like, oh man. So, I'm again like I might play into the whole like Florida's a little bit more like lax on that, so maybe it fits into there better. But like, I mean, I would definitely be like, if I could be a Twi'lek, I'd be a Twi'lek or a Zabrak. Zabraks are Darth Mauls, but that might need a lot of makeup and whatever work. I mean, like honestly, I'm like, if it's just you can buy like a headband or something with some leku on it and just wear it.
And it kind of like
sure,
but if you have to do a whole prosthetic thing,
I'm like, do you have flesh-colored ones like this color, so I don't have to get all green? But I would totally do it. So
it makes me wonder, like, because like you, I have a quote unquote backstory of my lightsaber, and there's for me there's different phases of the lightsaber. Oh, here he comes.
And we're back.
We're just talking about dressing up and how like I don't know if you've heard, Loren, like the rules for dressing up in the parks in Disneyland seem to be a little more stricter than they are in Florida, from what I've heard. I don't know if you've heard the same thing or not.
I didn't hear that, but I know that you can dress up.
Right.
If you're going on the Galactic Cruise.
Yeah, that's what we're saying is that, you know, they're not going to make you... Because you could not go to Disneyland's Galaxy's Edge dressed as an alien. They'll turn you away, right?
Yeah.
Whereas...
Which is too bad.
In Florida, if you dress up as a Twi'lek, I'm not going to tell you to take off your leku. Right? Because then that's part of the experience.
Well, I think if you're a regular guest, they would. But if you're on the Star Cruiser, then... But then at this point, who's going to be able to tell?
Right.
You know,
that's what I'm saying. Because you can go to Hollywood Studios, so you can go on Mickey's Runaway Railroad, dressed up as a stormtrooper or something, whatever.
You're supposed to dress up in Walt Disney World. Well, there's our answer.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to.
Although I think they would stop you at the gate if you were coming in as a Twi'lek.
Right. But I mean, like some people get around the gate. I mean, it's.
Or I mean, if you bring your costume in a bag.
Yeah, they're gonna have to relook at their
thing. They're gonna have to figure something out.
Yeah. Right.
But it's interesting that, you know, you can buy stuff on shopdisney.com before the cruise, and then you can buy stuff on the cruise itself.
Jean-Claude is saying that you can bound, but you can't be in full costume. But on the Star Cruiser, you will be invited to dress up.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
But yeah, let's get to the fun part, which is where is this?
Right.
Well, here's some of the food. Right, the blue shrimp is what stands out to me. This is where I'm like, I wish I liked shrimp because I don't like shrimp.
I like shrimp, so that
love
looks
shrimp.
good to me.
I mean,
So
this
I'll just eat yours when we go.
there you go. And this weird like Mustafarian kind of looking thingamajigger. It all looks what I wish a lot of the stuff at Galaxy's Edge look like. Just like
I know.
you're like, this
yeah,
looks
I do
weird.
too.
But like instead of
Well,
like
they
this,
tried to do that. They tried to do that, and then people were like confused or something like that.
well,
Robert,
they were
and then
confused
took
about
away the-
about the names. But when you get a tip
Yeah.
yip, it looks like a chicken tender, just
Yeah.
like square. So it doesn't look weird enough to me. The Ronto wrap doesn't look weird. It just looks like a pita with some sausage in it. Like it doesn't look
Yeah.
like this blue shrimp is intriguing because you're like, this looks like it's from Romulan,
Yeah.
Romulan or whatever.
Yeah.
Like this, I don't know what this thing is, but like this thing with like wispy, probably dry ice looking thing with like weird stuff. Who knows what that is?
Yeah.
None of the stuff I know. Well, okay, I see a tomato.
Yeah.
But you know what? Some things don't look weird.
Mm.
That's what I kind of hope that you would look at it and go, I have no idea what this is, but at least tell me if there's nuts in
Right.
it, so I don't die.
Yeah.
Right. So, all right. let's look at the cabins. So the standard cabin sleeps 4 to 5 people. There's a queen bed, and then like 2 bunk beds, and then they have like a pull down bed.
Mm-hmm.
And the bunk beds like in the like some of the concept art I thought was like for small kids, but technically like it
That's
says
what I thought, yeah.
they said it's for adults, an adult size bunk bed kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing this is the size of a typical room. It has one window, which I've heard some people complain how small it is. I'm like, it's probably come on.
Yeah. Considering.
Although, I mean, like, if you were going to make, I mean, it's like you could make those windows bigger, but that's not.
I mean, like even like cruise ships
At least you're going to
don't
space.
don't have huge windows. Also, for most things.
Yeah.
I mean, the fun part about this is that, there's some cabins and cruise ships that are like towards the inside, no view.
Yeah, that's what the John saying.
Right.
That's what the John
But every single cabin is going to have a view of some kind. So
Yeah.
that's kind of cool. The Galaxy class suite, which is a step up, is a 1-bedroom suite. It has a living space and then kind of a bedroom area. Oddly enough, this only sleeps 4 people. So it has a queen bed and then 2 wall pull down beds. So I think they sacrificed the bunk stuff just for 2 pull down beds.
Mm-hmm.
But this has 2 windows in it. And here's the part that gets me at the end of this description. 2 windows with views out into space and a few extra Star Wars surprises. Like, man, see, then now I have to do at least a suite because the other one didn't say there's other extra Star Wars surprises. Like, what if they give you a tauntaun?
A full working tauntaun.
Full working tauntaun.
Or you get your own speeder or something like that.
Yeah, right. And then the Grand Captain Suite is a 2-bedroom Grand Captain Suite, offers ample room for the whole family and features a posh living space, complete with integrated seating area. They have all the comforts of a standard cabin plus a main suite with a double vanity bathroom. A second bathroom with a single vanity, a bar area, 3 windows, and also a few extra Star Wars surprises. And I'm assuming that you get your own freighter ship. This sleeps 8 people, has 2 queen beds, 2 bunk beds, and then 2 wall pull-down beds. And then all of them come with like a mini fridge, hairdryer, in-cabin safe. Important thing for me is hairdryer. Interactive TV, phone with voice messaging, and the H2O Plus spa bathroom products, which everyone kind of loves. Now, let's get to the prices. And this is before I go into them. This is for like prices on a weekday on the slowest time of the year,
Right.
right? So here they are. Boom. And it's kind of priced. So the first thing they show here is 2 guests per cabin. So getting one of those standard cabins with 2 people is going to cost pretty much $1,200 per person, right? Or a total of $4,109.
Not cheap.
Not cheap at all.
But we kind of predicted these prices when we first announced
That's
it.
another thing. It's like I don't know. Like people just assume hotel and they're like it's gonna be like $100. Like no, it's not a
Like,
hotel.
no, this is more than just a hotel.
Yeah.
Right. If you have 3 guests per cabin, it comes out to a little cheaper at $889 per person. And then if
Right.
you have 4 people in that cabin, it goes down to $749
But those prices assume like the 3 people, 2 adults, and 1 child. Now,
Yes.
can you have 3 adults?
Yeah. And this is not. You're not like not gonna be. You can't have more than 4 people because that grand suite holds 8.
Yeah.
The standard cabin holds 5. So this is just like, this is kind of like go off of this kind of thing.
I wonder how much the big suite costs.
How much?
Because I mean, like, if you could get 8 people, would that be reduce the price, or is it going to
The
be
more people you have, the cheaper it's going to be for everything relative to it. Like the grand cabin, like I don't know how much that would cost outright, right? So
Yeah.
but I'm sure that having 8 people will definitely like here's what I would say. If you have the grand cabin, I would say probably expect about $1,000 per person.
Mm.
It's still cheaper than 2 people per cabin on a standard cabin.
$1,000 per person per night, or $1,000 per person
Per person
Period.
per night.
Yeah.
To put it into like I looked up some Disney cruise prices, and like on a heavy day, like I think like it goes up to around 500 plus per person per day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking at that versus the 4 guests per cabin at somewhere $149 per person per day,
Yeah.
it makes sense in that regard. Because again, this is not just a cruise; you're paying for pretty much 2 nights worth of entertainment at all times of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, like this is not meant for everybody. Like your typical like family probably won't do this. It's never meant to be like everyone can do this. Kind of like Jurassic Park. Maybe we'll have a coupon day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I heard kind of recently that, and I don't know how accurate this information is. I think it's probably like a heavy rumor at this point that probably because of this, Disney's toying with the idea of like a layaway option for like vacations, like for a family. Like you can, like you could, it, especially if you're, not, really well off, but you still want to have your week-long whatever Disney World trip. You can spend however long time and make monthly payments, and then when you're done with that, we can all make our trip now. We're not really eating at the bank. So I mean, if that's true, I feel like, especially if that would apply to something like this, I feel like that would be a big help for a family or whoever that would want to be able to do this, especially like huge Star Wars nerds like us. But
Hey.
yeah, yeah, but just like I don't have a spare $5,000 right now to spend on this, but I can make monthly payments, to eventually get to that point. Okay, well, a year and a half from now, or a year from now, we'll be able to go. So I mean, that'd be nice if that if what I remember is true.
I mean, that could help definitely.
Yeah.
Make it easier for us.
Hmm.
Um, I'm just wondering when the DVC opens for the Galaxy Cruiser.
Yeah.
But yeah,
My AirPods just quit,
All
yay!
right. Well, we can still hear you.
so I can barely hear you guys. I'm gonna leave it to you guys to wrap up because I I don't want to go back in and out again.
All right.
Okay.
Okay,
Whatever you want to do.
bye guys. Thank you so much, everybody that came into to the show, and next time we will be less wacky.
Unless you
All right.
liked wacky,
Have a good rest of the episode.
and then we can always be wacky. If you
Yeah.
want.
Always.
Bye.
Bye.
So this is where the windows will look screwed up. Boom!
fine.
Look at that. Let me see if I can fix this really quick. Talks amongst yourselves.
Yes. Feel free.
See, Kira gets it. Totally worth it, right?
Yeah. Totally worth it. You save up money for it. It's
I mean,
completely worth it.
It sounds like a once in a lifetime kind of experience
Yeah.
to me. Like, it's not something I'm gonna be like, we're gonna do this every day, or even
Yeah.
every year. Like, I'm gonna save up, but this is the experience I want to do.
Yeah.
So,
Oh wow, you weren't kidding. Like I'm like part of my neck and like the top side of my head. What if I like did this? Would that help? And part of your room
I'm trying to fix it.
to readjust.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I already know at least get a general idea of whatever I would go as. You know, it would be my quote unquote character. You know, like how you mentioned your lightsaber kind of has this backstory to it.
Yeah.
As does mine, and there's three phases of that because the one I got initially when I had it built, I picked the red kyber crystal, but afterwards, you know, I went 2 more times, and I bought a green kyber crystal and a white kyber crystal, so I have this kind of backstory of my character, which is, you know, considering from what I know how the kyber crystals tend to work,
Mm-hmm.
especially the red and whites. Hell, you know, I mean, is this? I mean, me saying this, is this canon? It's where the red kyber crystal is when a, you know, kind of normal Jedi crystal is bled, and that's where that comes from. Is that still a thing?
Yes.
And then a white kyber crystal is when a red crystal is essentially, you know, repaired in a way.
Yeah. It's
At
it's
least
what
that's what
it's
I
what
know.
Ahsoka did for hers, and it's also in the High Republic. There is a Jedi that has a white lightsaber because they did it for academic reasons, and then it, like, the kyber crystals in the Star Wars universe kind of bond to their user. So this white
Yeah.
crystal bonded to her, so she just ended up using it as her lightsaber
Yeah.
crystal. So yes, that is what happens.
I mean, yeah, because my quote unquote character's life is this. He starts out as a Jedi,
Mhm.
and I mean, I guess I'd like to hear your 2 cents of this. I mean, I think you know where this is going, knowing me personally.
What?
You know, like green is his lightsaber, and I usually went with blue, but I kind of have a soft spot for green, especially considering Luke. So, and a lot of people tend to go with blue anyway. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, starts out with green, but then he falls to the dark side at some point.
What?
But then later on, he gets redeemed, and he goes neutral, and that's when he he pretty much bleeds his own crystal, makes it red. That whole storyline goes, and then when he finally gets redeemed, he becomes neutral, so to speak. So then he repairs, so to speak, his blood kyber crystal, and it becomes white. That's just the idea.
Nice.
A story that would like last like you know decades, pretty much.
Right.
Just the idea.
Yeah. I mean, like, I won't go through mine because it's a long story as well.
Yeah. Mine was like the
One
like
day. One day,
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
maybe we'll do a little video about like the stories behind what our characters would be on Galaxy's Edge or on the
Yeah.
Star Cruiser.
hmm
So, but yeah, mine has a history and lore to it as well. But
I don't remember what color did you go with. Like for whatever reason, I don't remember. Even though I was there when you made it.
Well, when I made it, it was green because they didn't offer
Okay.
yellow. But
Yeah.
I bought the yellow crystal to put in it because there's two reasons why. Like, one, this part fits the story, but two, when I was a kid and to age myself, I saw Star Wars in the theater when it first came out. Um, the first kind of lightsaber toy that I had was this like huge flashlight looking thing that you would attach an inflatable blade to,
I remember those.
and it was yellow.
Hmm.
And then also, like, Luke Skywalker's figure from back then had a yellow lightsaber. So I always wanted the yellow lightsaber because it just reminded me of when I was a kid, and the first toys that I had yellow lightsabers. So that's why I chose it. But in because at Galaxy's Edge the Temple Guard sabers were yellow,
hmm
that plays a part into why also my saber is yellow.
Hmm.
So
I
there's
feel like doing like a thing where we just talk about
that.
our
Backstory
our
characters.
our backstory characters and like what they go through would be fun because I have all that in my head. Like even down to like characters that I've played in like games that I've played throughout the years. Like
Oh,
they
yeah.
have these long, complicated backstories. I just can't help that part. It just happens.
I mean, that is the essentialness of role playing games. So
Yeah.
this is why, like, you know, that's why I keep hoping that Galaxy's Edge would be a little more immersive than it is, because if it was, then I would feel like the odd person out if I did do some of
Yeah.
those things. I know I have a friend, we might share, I can't remember, but from where we used to work, that tries. I know he does. So I'm curious to see how well he does when he does those things. But
Hmm.
you know, it's hard when no one else is really into it.
Yeah. It has to be kind of everyone involved. Yes, please do it someday. Well, okay. Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm up for that. So,
we'll plan something. We'll plan something.
yeah. Yeah.
And then I'd honestly, my lightsaber's out of batteries.
Yeah, that's if only there it'd be cool if there was a way to kind of hook them up to a non-battery power source so you
Well,
can kind of have them boot up
the
whenever you want to.
the dark saber that I'm getting from Hasbro is USB
Oh, well, that's
chargeable,
helpful.
so that's a little
I
helpful.
mean, it'd be cool if they all had that option. You just plug them in,
Right. I mean, like,
then
my Luke Skywalker one has like 3 or 4 D-sized batteries in it. Those were those were the first wave before
Yeah.
it was, because the history of the Force Fix lightsaber was that it was licensed out to master replicas, so that's a master replica lightsaber before before they lost the license and Hasbro took it back, basically, or Hasbro
Yeah.
got it. I mean, nowadays there's now like 3 or 4 AA batteries.
I think it's three.
Actually, I think it's
or I
triple
think
A.
it's AAA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Leia's, when I
'Cause
opened up
had
Leia's, I think it's AAA.
a fun fact because the lightsaber that my girlfriend got me for my birthday that built at Galaxy's Edge, whenever I was turning on or off my air conditioner via my remote, it
Yeah.
would the lightsaber would do the, whenever you put a new kyber crystal in, it goes that kind
Yeah.
of like humming sound. It did that. It did that every time.
That is
So it
weird.
was draining the batteries every time I had to use my AC or turn
Well,
it
even if
off.
you leave it on, that's why mine's drained, because it
Yeah,
does something. Like it's
it
still
does something.
running.
Yeah,
So you like the really way to preserve it. So you have to take out the batteries. But
yeah,
I'm
which I
lazy.
didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, I put new batteries in it. 'Cause sometimes I just take it out and just ignite it. And I really, yeah, I really like the white kyber crystal. I'm not. Did you get a white one? I don't remember.
Yeah, I have them
Oh,
all except for the black one, because that was the one
oh
you have
okay.
to.
Yeah, that's a hard one to
That's a
get.
hard one to get.
Yeah,
And you can cheat. You can cheat. There's a way to make a
Yeah.
crystal anything you want, but I'm like,
I'm not gonna bother with it. I'd
Yeah.
rather have the actual physical crystal.
yeah. So, anyway,
Still bummed about the whole shortage of the legacy lightsabers at the parks.
I mean, like it's due to having like now I'm in kind of the retail merchandising business. There's a lot of issues overseas and stuff. So I don't think like even my the Hasbro lightsaber, like it was supposed to come out this month. I think now it's like November.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of delays and stuff with COVID still running rampant in some places.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
it's still kind of doing it.
you and I for like pretty much 2 decades have wanted our like very specific lightsabers for so long. Well, you got lucky, it seems. Someone got yours, the one you wanted apparently. Some I don't know how because they I mean yeah, so Loren told me about this. And but mine so
Hopefully,
anyway,
whoever that is not watching this.
yeah. But so I've wanted the uh the Count Dooku lightsaber since those came out, and they started finally in much like the one you wanted. The only way to get them was on eBay for like what, $2,000, I think. One time we saw them both
Probably, yeah.
around there, and then Galaxy's Edge started making them again. So and I remember when we went when they opened the trade the trading post in downtown Disney, and I got to hold Count Dooku's. I was so close to buying it that day, and I didn't.
Yeah, I
And now
didn't buy it
regret-
either because I wanted to get it in Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, it was
But-
the same reason for me.
You know, it was hard to, we didn't go as much. So,
Yeah,
It's one of those
considering
things.
that no more annual passes. But so I'm hoping that they come back, and then as soon as they do, I'm going back and I'm getting mine.
yeah, I would say yeah. But anyway. Anywho, this is ran pretty long.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a while, especially
So-
even including the technical difficulties.
So anyone who is still here and was joining us from the very
Yeah.
beginning, where it just said starting soon, thank you
Yeah.
for sticking with us tonight with all the technical difficulties we had. Hopefully
Mhm.
next time will be a little smoother. And
I'm sure it will be.
yeah. Otherwise, everyone, thanks for watching. What's the spiel that we always go through?
It's been so long for me, I don't remember.
I had to look up one of the other things to see how LJ ends these things. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. If you enjoyed yourself, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell for notifications and liking this post. You can reach us on Twitter at CCC Disney Uni, on Instagram. You can reach us on Instagram at Castles, Capes, and Clones, and through our website at www.castlescapesclones.com. And you can reach Loren on Twitter at Lojav and on Instagram at Loren Javier. And you can reach me on both Twitter and Instagram at R2RomaSanta. How about you, Tom?
Well, as of kind of nowhere right now because I was taking a long break from streaming, which is what I did on Twitch, but I will be going back to it pretty soon, and that is again on twitch.tv/6orbs. But as I mentioned when I was a guest previously, it's more of a mature audience type thing. So just little little note there. But that's pretty much it.
Which reminds me, we still need to do our Star Wars Squadrons Twitch
That's
stream.
right. We still need to do that.
Basically, two people who love Star Wars, not really great at flight simulator games.
Yeah, I tried it, and we both bought joysticks.
Got my
for it,
joystick.
and I just kept crashing everything.
Yep. So that'll be fun. And if we could get Mr. Ice Cream in on it as well, it would be even better.
I mean, he did buy it.
Did he?
So
See?
yeah, because it was on sale, that
Yeah.
day. So I think we all bought it the same day because it was on sale. So that'll be fun because he's terrible at
Yes.
games in general.
Yes.
So if you want to watch, us crash into everything and get absolutely nowhere on Squadrons, we'll be doing that at some point.
Yes, and we'll let you know on the channel when we do it. But anyway, the opinions expressed on today's podcast are solely our own and do not represent the Walt Disney Company and its subsidiaries or assets. And they're probably pretty happy about that. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Thank you all for joining us. And Loren would say he will see you later. And I would say catch you all on the flip side.
And I'll just say, ta.